Welcome to the Kelly Sullivan Walden Show, where we explore nighttime dreams, daytime desires, and the best ways to transform the tragic into magic. Because let's face it, we all dream, we all have our blessings, and we all have our challenges, myself included. And I don't want any of us to take any of those things lying down, if you know what I mean. I just wrote a book entitled A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste. I'm excited to explore the topic with you, whether it relates to your waking or sleeping dreams, because we're dreaming all the time, people. So let's make it the best dream possible. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. So I've been having the most exciting conversation with Letao Wang, and he is joining me from Hong Kong. So it's morning over there. Hello, good morning,
Hello,
Letao.
Kelly.
So we have been in a very deep conversation about the myths, fairy tales, legends. He's written this incredible oracle deck entitled The Oracle of the Mythic Heroes. And we've been pulling cards and he's telling me about these cards, and I just had this instinct I needed to pause and like broadcast this to a larger audience. And anyway, let's keep going. So I'm going to invite the audience once again. If you're just joining us, this will be the first time I'm asking you, but think of a question that you have that you would like this amazing oracle deck to give you a little nudge. I'm going to shuffle it so that you can see as you're thinking of a question. Look at how beautiful and lush this deck is. Oracle of the Mythic Heroes. It's out on it's out on Beyond Words Publishing. All right, so everybody got a question? You too, Letao. I bet that's rare that somebody asks you. So I'm just going to see
Absolutely,
which
yeah.
card kind of falls out of the deck. There we go. Da 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 da. And interesting, this one fell out earlier, and I picked
Oh,
the other one. So this is okay. This one is Achilles. I was just talking
Achilles.
about Achilles because I say I've got an Achilles heel. So so this is confidence. This is card number 3. All
Yeah,
right.
it's a
Tell
beautiful
us
card.
about Achilles and what his message is for us.
Right. So Achilles is such a famous Greek hero, right? I mean, there are a lot of books about him, and even these days we're still talking about him, using his name in our daily conversation, right? The Achilles heel and everything. Well, his story is really long because he was a main character in, the Trojan War, fighting against the Trojans and trying to protect the Greeks. But the reason why this card is called confidence, apart from all his heroic, endeavors and what he did, right, to protect the Greeks from the Trojans, I think the interesting thing is that because he does have a weakness. Achilles he's not a full god. He's a demigod, but he's not a full god, and he's mortal, right? And eventually, actually, in the story, he did pass away. But the interesting thing is, he was so courageous and he was so confident in the story, but he knew from the beginning that his heel, that's his weakness. And so I think the message really for us is about confidence does not need to come from perfection. You don't
Mm,
have to know that you can do everything and you are already perfect. Then finally, I'll have the confidence. Because one of the key things that we tend to do to ourselves in our
mm,
actual life is we tend to hold a magnifier over ourselves and look at
mm,
the things that we didn't do well in the past. And we kind of like keep reminding ourselves what I failed, what I didn't do well, and that could hinder our sense of confidence. And I really think that for Achilles, he knew his heel, his heel is his weakness, but that didn't really stop him from going to the battlefield and
mm.
protecting his friends and families. And I really think that's a message for all of us. Yeah,
Oh, so if
yeah,
you, yeah, I talked to, it seems like this is a phenomenon Well, this is a phenomenon across the board with men and women. I'd say maybe more women have this where they feel like they have to be absolutely ready, absolutely perfect
Mm,
before they can take the
mm.
leap, and that day will never come. We will never.
Correct, yeah. Actually, in astrology, when we talk about people who have this, let's say this challenge, yeah, in their psychology, they tend to either have a, let's say, a challenging aspect between their sun sign and their Saturn, right? Let's say if someone was born with sun conjunct Saturn, sun opposing Saturn, or sun squaring Saturn, especially when they were younger, they might hold themselves back a lot.
Mm,
Or I've also seen people who were born with their South Node in Aquarius on their chart. Yeah, this is different from your sun sign, right? So if you're
mm-hmm,
listening to this podcast or video and you think, oh, I'm an Aquarius, oh, I'm not talking about that. We're talking
hmm.
about the South Node. Yeah, so you can maybe check your chart or consult an astrologer and ask where your South Node is. South Node in Aquarius people also tend to feel that they always need more information. They need more information. They need to
Right.
be more ready. And there's always a voice saying, once I know enough, once I'm ready enough, I will do it. And that takes a long time. And this actually is related to another mythological story from it's from Chinese mythology, and I would
Mm.
love to share this story. Yeah,
Yes,
it's a very
please.
quick. I think everyone knows this story. It's about the Monkey King. It's called Journey to the West. It's a very
Okay.
famous Chinese mythological story. It's about this monk, right? He received an order from Buddha, and the Buddha said, "You need to go to the West, right, to get this Buddhist, book or whatever." And the monk said, "But it's dangerous, right? There are monsters, I might get, eaten by a monster on the way. So I don't know if I should go." And the Buddha said, "Well, figure it out, right? This is your mission, right?" And so what he did was he embarked on this journey anyway, without any protection. He didn't know any martial arts. He didn't have a gun, but he started this journey anyway. And on the way, he met four heroes. And
Mm.
one of them, the most amazing one, was the Monkey King, who knew magic, who knew martial arts, who was fast, who could actually ride on clouds and fly. And this Monkey King had a contract basically with the monk and said, "I'll protect you all the way to the west." So it's kind of interesting story. Yeah. If the monk had thought, "I will wait for the heroes to come to me
Right.
first, then I
Mm-hmm.
will go. Then I will have the guarantee that I will be safe. Then I can go." He will never be able to meet the monkey. He has to go on the journey first. Then he will meet the Monkey King. So I think that's the story. Yeah.
God, I love that. And I'm just feeling into kind of this pain of
Uh,
where we have like our Achilles
mm,
heel is
yeah.
exposed and we tend to we all know what that place is. We know where our deficit is or our weakness or our
Yeah.
pain place.
Yeah.
And I think many of us relate to that place like that is who we are.
Yeah.
And we have a blind eye to all of the other things that we have that are going for us that are pretty beautiful. I mean, that this is why I think the act of making a gratitude list is so simple but so profound because it switches our brain out of deficit mode and into, well, I'm breathing. I
Mm.
have a roof over my head. I've got friends. I've got clothes on my back. I've got food in my refrigerator. I've got trees out of my window. I've got, oh my God, I've got so many things. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
wow, then I think we get into Achilles mode, which
Mm,
is,
mm,
I've got a lot going for me. Yeah, maybe I don't have that one thing,
mm,
but let's
mm.
go for it and we'll meet the Monkey King.
100%,
Oh,
yeah. And I think that's what makes Achilles such a beautiful um image, right? Because he's not
yes.
perfect, because he doesn't have everything protected. He does have his feet and heel, exposed there. And that's the human part. And that's real, I think. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I think this is a lot of why Moses is such a strong and powerful biblical character because
Mm.
he had a stutter. He wasn't the best orator, and yet he's supposed to be the one
Yeah,
to
yeah.
bring these messages. And he's like, but I can't even talk. And they're like, perfect,
Perfect.
perfect. You're like, you must be flawed
Yeah,
in order to
yeah,
bring forward something good. If you are all perfect and buttoned up, next,
yeah, yeah.
next, next. Okay, let's pull another card, shall we? One more
Okay.
card for the road. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Great. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
All right. All right, everyone, go ahead, take a breath, go a little deeper, maybe, or to the side or to the other side. What other issue do you want to shine some light on? My husband always says his only question for the oracle cards is, what do you want me to know today? And I think
That's a
that's
very good
valid.
practice. Yeah, yeah.
I
Every
always
day
like to
in the morning. Yeah.
I like to narrow it in on something,
Mm,
but
yeah.
okay, so this one just kind of flitted into my hand. Oh, this is very different. Oh my God, I'm blushing. Sexuality. Here we go. This is card. Oh God, I think this must be Helen. Oh my God. Okay, the synchronicity. Every card we've pulled has had a synchronicity.
Mm.
I am going to a memorial for a woman named Helen right after this.
Oh, really? Oh,
She was
wow.
this
Mm.
beautiful woman who ran my local little grocery store, and she
Mm.
was young and gorgeous, got cancer, passed away, and everyone is just in an uproar about it. So,
Oh, wow.
so Helen, Dana's like, "Who's Helen?" And I'm like, "Helen, she runs the grocery store." I'm gonna go,
Mm.
like, oh my God. Okay, so this is
So
22.
so
It's beautiful.
this is for your friend Helen, definitely. Yeah, I think yeah, it's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
So so Helen, I think a lot of people know her as Helen of Troy, right, in Greek mythology. But originally, she was actually the queen of Sparta. So she married the king of Sparta, whose name was Menelaus, and she was considered the most beautiful woman in the world. Right. And so, she was protected by mortals, by gods. Everyone loved her because she was just beautiful. And this actually has another story attached to it. What happened was there was a Trojan prince whose name was called Paris. He was given a task to choose who the most beautiful goddess is in the world. And three goddesses appeared in front of him. One is Athena, one is Hera, and the other one is Aphrodite.
Of course.
Right. So Hera said, "You should choose me. If you choose me, I will make you the most powerful emperor in the world." And Athena said, "No, you should choose me. If you choose me, I will make you the most invincible warrior in the world, right? Whatever battle you go into, you will win." And finally, Aphrodite said, "No, of course you should choose me. If you choose me, I will give you the most beautiful woman as your wife. What do you want?" And of course, at that time, Paris was young and naive. All he wanted was a girlfriend. He didn't, he, Absolutely, right? I mean, we can all relate to, right? A 16-year-old boy, right? Dreaming about, a beautiful girlfriend, right?
It's like
Leading,
world
leading in
domination, all the wealth, power. I just want a hot girlfriend. Okay.
Exactly, right? And Paris was very naive, and so he chose Aphrodite. So he said, "You are the most beautiful goddess. Now, where is my beautiful wife?" And Aphrodite said, "Okay, here she is. She's Helen. I will make her fall in love with you." But the trick is Helen was already married. Helen was married to Menelaus. She was a queen of Sparta. And so that now we're back to the story about Helen. Is Helen under the magic of Aphrodite, she fell in love with Paris and she eloped with Paris all the way to Troy, right? So she left Sparta. And of course, very soon her husband Menelaus found out what happened, and he
Hmm.
led 100,000 Greek soldiers to Troy to attack the city. And that's the so-called Trojan War. That war lasted for 10 years. Millions of people died. And Paris also died, actually. He was struck down by the Greek soldiers. And but the interesting thing was when Menelaus found Helen in Troy, in the palace, and he was also very angry. He felt, you betrayed me, why did you do this? I'm gonna kill you. And what Helen did was just one simple thing. She dropped her robes and she became naked. And she said, but you still want me because I'm the most beautiful woman in the world. Right.
Oh,
And you know
that's so
what? Yeah.
fantastic.
And you know what happened? And Menelaus, just put down his sword and he embraces Helen. And he took Helen back to Sparta, to Greece. And Helen lived happily ever after, with him. So that was a story. So now we're looking at Helen as a character, right? So it's kind of interesting because a lot of people read the story of Helen and thinking, so she's not a good woman. She abandoned her husband for another guy. And then when her new lover died, she went back to her husband. What's the deal? But from our point of view, we really see Helen as someone, how do I describe this? The reason why she was able to do that was because deep down, she knows her value. She knows who she is. She knows she is the
Mm.
most beautiful woman in the world. So when Parrot said, would you like to come to Troy with me? And she might be feeling, you know what, maybe this is a time when I want to experience my life overseas. So she did that. And when her husband came to, find her, and she felt, well, I can go back to my husband because why? Because he desires me, and I know I deserve to be a queen again. Blah, 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 right? And so deep down, this
Whoa.
card is about us needing to know our intrinsic value. It's not really about we need to betray our partners or, just find whoever who wants to elope with us. But deep down, it's about, do you know who you are, and do you know the Helen, the most beautiful woman inside you that you always born with, right?
Oh.
Another
Oh.
thing about this, I also very much into this Helen, this character, is also because she, even though what she did seems a little bit, not 100% in line with the so-called traditional marriage value, but if you read all the classical mythology documents, right, and the stories, nobody really blamed her actually.
Mm.
People
Yeah.
never criticized Helen. So you will never find an article saying she did this and she's responsible for this and blah, blah, blah. And she was almost like a very balanced character there. She knows her beauty, she knows her sexuality. And
Mhm.
also realize a lot of the clients who pull this card out, they do have a lot of inner fear when it comes to intimacy. See, Helen was sexy. Helen
Mhm.
knew how to use her body and her beauty to, to find happiness and to find love. But a lot of us have this inner fear about revealing our body, revealing ourselves, right? Do we think I'm beautiful enough to be naked? Do we think that I can show myself to my partner, right? And do we have insecurities about, oh, I look weird here or I looked weird there, right? I can't really expose that, because we all have that, both, I think both men and women. And
Yeah.
so I think this card is also telling us to understand how to embrace the
Mm.
sexiness in ourselves. Yeah, just like what Helen did.
Oh my God, this is so powerful. And it's such a good metaphor of like the
Yeah.
nakedness spiritually, like
Yeah,
just get vulnerable and be
absolutely. Yeah.
and dare to bear your
Yeah.
truth and your the true being, bumps and all,
Yeah.
or whatever that may
100%.
be. Whatever that may
100%.
be.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes from Oriah Mountain Dreamer comes
Mm,
from her famous poem, The Invitation. There's a line that says something like, um, can you be willing to bear the accusation of betrayal and
mm,
not betray your own soul?
wow.
So there's something in that about what you're called to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not about being the people pleaser of the year and making
Mm,
everybody happy and considering everybody else. This feels almost like the highest version of this is to be so maybe connected to something higher that
yeah. Yeah.
says turn left even when everyone else says nope, turn right.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm being guided by something higher, and yeah, there may be some pain along the way, but it's not just about scratching an itch because I feel like it, because it's,
Mm,
maybe,
mm,
but following that and not being so concerned about being the most popular person in the
mm.
world. And there's virtue
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that, even if it looks incredibly selfish. I mean, there's that, the Hippocratic oath is do no harm. So
Mm,
I've thought
mm,
about this so many times, like, there's not always a harm-free option. Like
mm,
Helen
mm.
did a lot of harm. There was a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
harm. There was
Yeah.
millions of people that died because of her choice. And yet there was something set in motion that may have been like a forest fire that creates new
Yeah.
seedlings
Yeah.
to hatch, I don't know. But
Yeah, yeah. I think Helen is a very complex character, right, in Greek
yeah,
mythology, and there are also a lot of different versions of the
yeah,
myth
yeah.
about her. For example, some people say actually Helen, she didn't elope with Paris; she was abducted by Paris, right?
Yes, exactly.
So
It was like, yeah, not her
right.
fault.
So a lot of the different versions there. But either way, I think through when we look at Helen's life, and one thing that I really think that we learn is about like what you said. Yeah, okay, can we be loyal to our intrinsic self and our inner beauty there, and what we consider as
Yeah.
the most beautiful version of ourselves. Yeah, and always never betray that part of ourselves. Yeah, and that's difficult to
Oh,
do sometimes for a lot of us. Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
man. So
Yeah.
if you're all just watching and or listening to this, I've been having the richest conversation, a mythic conversation with Letao Wang. He is the author of The Oracle of the Mythic Heroes, and the artwork is sumptuous and gorgeous. It's illustrated by Rosang Zuali and Anjun Gao, and
Mm,
it's produced. This is out on the same publisher that did A Crisis is the Terrible Thing to Waste, Beyond Words, who I love so much, and a shout out to Brenna and Michelle and the whole gang over there. Um, I just wish on a parallel plane, I want to go through every single card in this whole deck with you. You are just a treasure trove. So you have a website that people should go to if
correct.
they
Yeah.
want a personal reading, if they want sessions. Tell
Correct.
them
Yeah.
as
Mm.
I shuffle these cards in front of everyone so they can get a
Okay.
sense of how beautiful they are if you're watching this on YouTube.
Right. So my official website is www.thehealingkingdom.com. And you can also find me through my official Instagram account for astrology, tarot, and mythology. And my Instagram is Letao Wang, LetaoWang.
Letao Wang, you are mythic. You are an oracle. Joseph Campbell would just love you.
Thank you. Yeah. We're
I
still,
appreciate you. Oh, you're in touch on the level of dreams. Well, please come back. I want to have you back to pull some more cards. This was so magical. Thank you so
yeah.
much for
And yeah,
joining me, Letao.
there's just one more thing that I
Yes,
want to say, because I know that you
please.
have studied dreams a lot. I know you have a lot of insight into that. And actually, dream is really a big theme in Greek mythology. There is a god in Greek mythology whose name is Morpheus, and he was the god of dreams. And there was a
Hmm.
lot of stories, involving him, going into
Uh-huh.
people's dreams and telling them, almost like a prophet, he tells people messages and what they need to know. And so it's kind of interesting. Maybe next time we can also talk about that, since dreams is also your expertise. Yeah.
Yes. Is Morpheus one of the cards in this deck?
It's not, because he's a
Oh,
god.
okay.
He's not a mortal. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
However,
Wow.
however,
Mhm.
I'm actually thinking about another oracle deck that I will write, and definitely Morpheus will be part of that. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds
Mm.
good. Well, we this is not the last. You've not seen me for the last time,
Mm.
Letao Wang. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Your day is just beginning and mine is coming to a close. But I'm so looking forward to talking to you again. Thank you for your beautiful work.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Kelly Sullivan Walden Show. If you enjoyed this episode, take a moment to like, subscribe, comment, and share it with your friends. My show can be found on Apple iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to order my new book, A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste, go to your favorite online or brick and mortar retailer. Then head on over to kellysullivanwalden.com tragic2magic. Input your order number and redeem your bonus gifts. I'm also excited to be offering a DreamWork practitioner training. So if that calls to you, go to kellysullivanwalden.com/dreamwork. If you'd like to join me for the live recording of these shows, most Wednesdays at noon Pacific, you can find me on Facebook at Kelly Sullivan Walden Dreams. If you have a question about your dreams or about how to transform your tragic into magic, email me at kelly@kellysullivanwalden.com. Until next time, remember, a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. And as you awaken to the power of your dreams, you make the world a lighter, brighter, more beautiful place, one dream at a time. Sweet dreams.